kind of wanted to talk to you about a topic that's pretty personal. I'm just working on opening up to you guys, like, so you guys can like understand me a little bit more. And the goal is just like to get my story out there so you guys can have a clearer understanding of who I am as a person and why I am the way that I am. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about, and it's me being a foster child and growing up in the foster system and just, you know, going through life. We'll start with how I got in the foster system. I got in the foster system when I was a little girl. I would say I had to be maybe about 5 or so. So let's go back a little bit. I lived with my mom, up until I was 5 years old. And for whatever circumstance, I can't remember because I was a child, we had to live inside of a homeless shelter. Now, to me as a child, it didn't I didn't realize that we didn't have a home like other children. I went to school, I had friends, I loved school and all those kind of things. I love my mother. I have an older sister who was taken by our family. So all my mom had was me, but also my mom battled with drug addiction. So there were several times where she would come and pick me up from school, like super, super late, like really, really late, like 5 o'clock. And I remember the school put me in the office and they told me that, if your mom doesn't get here by 3 or whatever time, they said, if she doesn't get here by a certain time, we're going to have to call someone to take you away, basically, from your mom. Now, as a 5-year-old child, it is completely devastating to hear the news like that. And, I remember I just cried. I was like, please, I want my mom. I want my mom. I just remember crying so much in the office and just telling them, please, like, she's coming. I know she's going to come. And I don't know if she ever made it that day, but for sure the police came and they took me into the foster. They took me, placed me into a home, and then I was in the foster system from that time on. Now, there were times where we had supervised visitations. So I'm from Oakland, California. So my mom, there was like this building in downtown Oakland where they would take me there, and then she would come and she would visit with me for several hours. And, she would bring me stuff if she wanted, like Easter. I remember she never missed the Easter or birthday. She always brought me like, made me Easter baskets or whatever. Like, I remember that, you know what I'm saying? So, then they placed me into different homes. And as a child, you just feel so abandoned and so neglected. And as I grew older, I had so much resentment towards my mom, and I just did not like want to be associated with her. I pretended as if she just did not exist at all. And so, it really just scarred me, not knowing that my mom was really battling with the addiction, and I was her last bit of hope of her hanging on to not like losing it. Because once she lost me, I was her last of any type of like normal life. Once she lost me, she just went and became a whole different person. But so they placed me into different homes, and I remember I went to a group home. And if you've ever been to a group home, like, it's like the worst, because it's a whole bunch of girls all in one house. with all different types of problems, and I was like the youngest, and they would just like be fighting, and you know, like they'll try to bully you. Like they used to try to like bully me, and a lot of people don't know where my fighting comes from, because I've always been little, you know, and then I used to be very, very quiet. Like I would stay to myself, especially since the only person that I truly loved was taken from me. And so I just completely shut down. And so I would be really quiet, and you know, they would try me, and they would try me at school. Like I remember, I'll never forget, I was living with one of my foster families, and it was this girl named, it was two girls, Patrice and Star. And this like started the effect of me having to literally fight my way through life so that people would know, like, don't play with me, like respect me, you know what I'm saying? And so that's where a lot of my fighting came from. And I know a lot of people didn't understand it, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, I never started a fight, but like if you tried me, or I feel like you disrespected me, or you know, like that was my way of defending myself ever since a little girl. And so the girls came up to me or whatever. I'll never forget, because my foster mom, her name was Elaine, and she used to be a school crossing guard. So she'll be down the street, so I would have to walk. This is when I went to Brickfield Elementary in Oakland, California. So I would have to walk to the bus stop after school, you know, and I would sit in the van until she was done being a crossing guard, and then we would go home. So I was walking to the bus stop, and the girl just kept pushing me like, I want to fight, I want to fight, I want to fight you. Like, and I had no idea why she wanted to fight me. Like, you know, like I did not do that girl nothing. I did nothing to her, but she just wanted to fight me. So she was pushing me to the point where we fought. Like, you know, and ever since then, like, they had respect for me. Like, they were the popular girls. So, you know, once you fight a popular person and, you know, you win, then everybody's on your side and they like, ooh, and then everybody like you, and then the popular girl. It's crazy, because every person that I literally fight, I have ended up becoming their friends. And I know a lot of people was like, that is so weird. Like, why would you be somebody's friend if you fought them? And it was just like, because I never genuinely wanted to fight these people. And I don't know if it was because they wanted to be like cool with me, or because my name was like out there. I've always had like this, I don't know, I've never been bullied before, you know what I'm saying, except for that one time they tried it. But like going through school, I've always hung around popular kids. I would call myself popular, you know. A lot of people knew me, you know what I'm saying? And I never put myself in one box. I didn't just hang out with black kids. I hung out with I had Mexican friends. My first best friend was white. Her name was Jamie, and we were like peanut butter and jelly. I had Asian friends. I had really preppy friends, because I have different sides of me. Like, a lot of friends that I hang around, like I can hang around like, you know, the loud, ratchet, ghetto crowd, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I could come over here with like the like super smart, intelligent people, like, and I can hang out with them, and like people just like me. Like, it didn't matter. Like, people just got along with me. So after that happened, you know, I was really, really like, I got in really good with Patrice and Star. And so this ties into what's going on. So me and Star was like best friends. She was so beautiful. Like, I always have like really, really beautiful friends. She was like light skinned with long hair. She was super pretty. And she used to come to my house or whatever. And oh, so let's go back a little bit before we get into that. So I've moved around from foster home to foster home to foster home to foster home. And I'm going to say this. One foster home I'll never forget, their names was the Yanceys. And I still remember their number. I have no idea why I know their number. Well, their old number. They were an older couple, and like they were super, super nice to me. But I really just wanted to go I thought that if I lied and said they were being mean to me, that they would move me back with my mom. And for the longest, I tried to strategize and find ways to where I can get back to my mom's house. So when the first foster home that they put me in after the group home, I went to several different ones. Some were temporary because some people don't want you to live with them for a long period of time. So when I got to the Yanceys, they were super, super nice to me, gave me whatever I wanted, had my own room, like super, super nice. But I lied and said that they were being mean to me because I thought that they were going to send me home to my mom. I was young, you know, I just wanted to be with my mom. So that did not happen. And so they took me out of that house. And I regret that to this day because they were super, super beautiful, beautiful, great people. But so then moving around and being uprooted, it was just like being taken from my mom all over again, because you get with one foster family and you get comfortable with them, and then because they're not long term, they're temporary, then you move from this house to this house to this house. So the house that I'm at now, where with the crossing guard, it was long term. So Star used to come to my house a lot, and the thing is that she had a son and she had a daughter. I had my own room. Like, she was really, really good hands-on. I remember one year she handmade my Halloween costume. It was a cheerleader costume, and it was so like, I loved it. Like, it was just like the bomb. So she used to do things like that. Like, I had my own room there. Like, she was super, super nice to me. Like, treated me good, whatever. So, the thing is, she had a daughter and she had a son, and her son was 18 years old, and her son used to molest me. And so he would do it so that I can play his game, because I used to love his game. This is back then when they had Sega and Super Genesis, you know, Nintendo. I was just a kid. I just wanted to play his game. So he was like, if you want to play the game, then you gotta let me, you know, do what I want to do to you, you know. And he was like, it was like, this is a game that we're playing, but you can't tell anybody, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like me being a kid. I didn't know any better. So, I just used to do that so I could play the game or whatever. And so one day I told Star was my best friend, and I just told Star, like, hey, you know, like, my brother touched me. And I told her, don't tell anyone, please don't tell anyone. And she went to the school and she told the teacher, and the teacher took me to the office, and they asked me, was it true? And I just broke down crying. And at first I told the truth. And then when they told me they had to move me from my house that I got so comfortable with, I told them I lied. I was like, I just made it up or whatever. And they was like, you know what? Like, they didn't believe that I lied. They believed me. They believed my friend, and they knew that I wasn't telling the truth. So I had to move from that house to another house, and she was really, really cool. But the thing is that she was friends with the lady whose house I left, and because they live like literally like up the street, like it was like probably like a 2 or 3 minute drive from each other, they had to move me. So, and that leads me to where I am now with my parents that I have to this day. So I'm just gonna like tell you the emotions that go through my head. So being uprooted from place to place and being attached, it's like I get attached to these families and these homes, and then I have to go and I have to move, and then I have to go and I have to move again. And it was like the same uprooting from my mom. And so that causes me to be the way that I am today. and being super, super attached to people. And that's why it hurts me so bad when I'm not friends with friends anymore, or like when relationships don't work out anymore, because of the fact it just reminds me of being disattached like I was from my mom. And just going through that pain of just like not, feeling like no one loves me, like my mom didn't love me enough to get clean. And so for years I blamed my mom, but not knowing she was battling with an addiction. And like, I just come to terms with that, like I'll say this year, and I'm in my 30s. So years has it been since I like been able to come to terms with that. And so it has a lot to do, and in that there was a lot of times where I had to fight my way through a lot of situations. And so that's why I was the way that I was. And being in the foster system, and a lot of times I go into families that already have like their biological children, and it's hurtful because when they have parent teacher conferences, or if they have like father daughter dances, or just things that people do with their mother, their parent, their mother, or their father. And my dad was incarcerated my whole life. He was in and out of jail my whole life. He was a pimp. He made a lot of money. He was a huge drug dealer, you know what I'm saying? But he just was that type of person. So that's why I wasn't with my dad. So anyways, by me being in homes where people have their parents or their family, like, you can imagine me going to the doctor's office and they're asking me, hey, does this run in your family? Does this run in your family? Does this run in your family? And I can't give them the answer to that because I don't even know who my family is. Like, I'm not connected to my family. Or for the longest, like, my friends, their family became my family. So when we fall out, it's like, now I don't have family. Like, people have cousins and aunts and uncles and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I took my friend's family to be my family. And when we didn't work out, then I'm back to not having family anymore. Or me just being around people who like know their family, and I just think, I wonder what it's like to know who my grandma is, or I wonder what it's like to know, like, what would me and my cousins be like how close will we be? And one time when I was in the home that I grew up in and stayed with for that to the end of time, my aunt came and she said that she wanted to keep me, but I knew that if I had to leave again, I would be, one, disrooted from the family that has had me. And this is like, I think I was like in high school, or I had to been like probably 15 or something, because it was before I had my son, and I had my son like at 17 going on 18. So she came to the house and she used to visit, and she was like, we want to take you, and my foster parents were so understanding. They were like, listen, this is your family. If you want to go with them, you can go. But it was like, I think that was when I had my realization that you guys kept me for years, like from 5 or 6 all the way up until like, at this point, I'm like 15 years old. So it's like, you're the only family I know at this point. And I battled with myself in the decision in my head for a long time. Like, do I go with my family that I always wanted, or do I stay with my family that I have now? You know what I'm saying? And I chose to stay with my family because they stuck with me, and loyalty is everything to me. And I am very loyal to who's loyal to me. And I'm very, like, I'm ride or die, man. Like, if I'm with you or I'm cool with you, like, I used to do a lot of stuff for a lot of people that would not have done the same for me. Or when it was their time to do it for me, like, the situation didn't play out the way that I would have did it for them. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool. Like, I learned from it. I grew from it. And it just helped me to be a better person, but I just become very numb to the feeling of like family. And so I don't really get it like that, even though I have my family right now, you know, and they have my brother, which has always treated me like his sister, who's gone, rest in peace. And then they have my sister. Those are their two children, you know. And just looking at them is just like, man, you guys always had your mom and dad, you know, even though they're my mom and dad. But it's just like, it's just not my biological parents that created me in this world. And so there was a time where I had to live in a homeless shelter. It was like 2015 to like 2000 and like 2014 to 2015. And then I ended up getting my place, and I was in my place from 2015 to 2016, and that's when the shooting happened. So in that time, I had to go to the shelter. And I remember when I first got in the homeless shelter, I literally cried. From the time that I stepped my foot in there, it was like the lowest point of my life. I cried, and I had my two daughters with me, Heavenly and Denia. And so I felt like I felt them as a mother. And then it just replayed in my head that I'm being my mother, and I didn't want them to be taken from me. You know, even though I didn't have a drug addiction or whatever, but like the enemy will put thoughts in your head, and you will just think that, you know, you will, even though it's not true, it's just like, you'll just think that. And I just kept thinking like, dang, how did I allow myself to get my kids to this point? Now, not for nothing, when I lived in a homeless shelter with my mom, I never felt like I lived in a homeless shelter. I never felt like, oh, people have houses and they don't. All I needed was my mom. And so I'm saying that to revert back to what I'm about to say now. So I cried all day, all night. I stuck to myself, and there's like they have roll call where they call your name or whatever. And then they take you go to another church. They do like, prayer and devotion and stuff like that, and then you eat, and then they like have movies, or you could just like, kids could be on the tablets until bedtime. And it was just like we were like literally in jail. And the kids loved it. They felt like it was like a big sleepover, because everybody got mats, and it's all these families and women, children, and everybody, you know what I'm saying? But to me, I felt it like the toughest, but never reverted back to how I felt when I was young. Like, I remember being in the shelters, and like Christmas time, we got hecka presents. Like, well, I got hecka presents. You know, I was my mom's only child. They gave me hecka gifts. So like, I only remember good stuff. I remember eating food and just like, you know, just loving to be with my mom. So I cried all night and I cried all day. And there was a lady there, and she had 3 children. And I went to the bathroom, and I was in the bathroom, and I was crying. And she said to me, and I'll never forget this, and from this day forward, my whole attitude about the situation changed. Like the way that I thought, the way that I acted, it changed. She told me, she said, listen, I understand it's hard as a mother and feeling like you're a failure. She was like, but them babies see you crying, they're gonna hurt. If they see that you're okay, then they will be okay. So you gotta be strong, gotta hold your head up high, and you just got to go through this. This is only for a moment in time in your life. And from that day forward, when I listened to her say that, it just clicked in my head. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to cry about this. Like, this is just a moment in time. And then, you know, I was there for a while, but I made sure that like I was uplifting when I was talking to the women, because, you know, like at this time, like I'm deep in church, like I just didn't understand, why would God put me through that? Like, if I'm like, you know, like, Lord, I'm giving my life to you, why would you put me in this situation? And then the thoughts of me being my mom all over again, and then me being a failure as a mom. And that's the worst thing that could ever happen to you, or you feeling like you failed your children in any type of way. So with that being said, from that moment on, I was just like super positive, and I ended up getting my place. That is my story of me being a foster child, me, you know, being homeless. It's like so much, but I wanted to say, but it's just like I just didn't get everything out. Probably there's some things that I ended up missing, but that's just the gist of it. And to this day, yeah, I still feel like when I see people with their parents, and my biggest pet peeve, what I used to hate, is when I see somebody disrespecting their parent. Like I hated that so much, because it's just like, you so lucky that you even have your parent that's here, that wants to be in your life. The longest in the world I felt alone, and even going through the situation that I'm going through right now is like brings back the lonely feeling, or like, you know, the enemy tried to tell me like, you know, like I ain't nothing and blah blah blah. I just have to constantly shut down those things, because it reverts back to me being stripped away from my mother and my family, who I've never even had a real relationship with, a grandfather that I don't know, a grandmother that I don't know. So I'm numb to those feelings. Like my friends, they lost their grandparents, grandmother, you know. Even when my friend, she lost her mom, you know what I'm saying? I have a couple friends that lost their mom, but I'm numb to that feeling, because in a way it's like I've always lost my mom, you know. Like I don't know how to feel or have feelings towards those things. Don't get it twisted. I've been through some stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I always just like come out on top, you know what I mean? So I just thank you guys so much. I read you guys' comments, and you guys just make me so happy, and you guys uplift me, and it's just like so amazing. And you guys are like family to me, for real, for real. You guys have helped me to get through a situation. And I know you guys probably like, well, you never seen us, you never talked to us on the phone. It doesn't matter. The fact that you guys like show how much you care, and the encouraging words that you guys say to me, that means so much to me, and it does not go unnoticed. And I'm definitely like, when I make it, you know what I'm saying, I'm definitely gonna give back. But even before I make it, like I have to, if I gotta sacrifice, like so be it, because I want to give back to you guys. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for clicking on my channel. I thank you for watching my videos. I thank you for putting up with my shenanigans and everything, you know, that I bring. It's just like, I can't believe 900 people really rock with me. Like, oh my God, like I feel so special, you know what I'm saying? So I thank you guys so much for that. And you guys will be seeing me again soon, okay? Soon, sis. So until next time, peace.